know who she thinks she is, but I do think it might be someone with real power, and it shouldn't be. She wanted her own Hail to the Chief song, and it happened. It's called Fanfare for the First Lady. It's a terrible song. Listen to a little bit of this. The point is her ego. Her ego is out of control.
What happens when a queen of political spin finally runs out of tricks? Picture Hillary Clinton in full-scale breakdown mode. Anger boiling as Megyn Kelly drags skeletons straight from her jam-packed closet. This isn't ordinary politics anymore. It's a runaway train wreck with popcorn served on the side. Secrets explode, tempers flare, and egos collide in the most scandalous clash imaginable. Thought the scandals were yesterday's news? Wrong. This was the sequel nobody saw coming. Buckle up. Hillary's fury just turned into primetime chaos.
It's a very weird and I think shitty marriage. I don't think she has a husband who is in love with her or faithful to her, and I think I can't really blame him because she seems to have accepted this behavior since the inception of their marriage. And so past this prologue, you're going to get what you tolerate. You know, what you permit, you promote. She spent all of her daughter's upbringing away. At work, at the law firm, in the White House, running for office, and Chelsea Clinton is not a nice person.
Before diving deeper, smash that like button and subscribe, because you won't want to miss this storm. For decades, Hillary Clinton built herself up like a fortress. Stone walls, iron gates, windows polished to perfection, surrounded by a moat of excuses. Scandal after scandal bounced off her, as if she were immune. Emails? Just a minor hiccup. Shady ties? Just misunderstood connections. She strutted through political firestorms like nothing could touch her.
Happening in America. You can feel it. Something we've worked for and dreamed of for a long time. Donald Trump fell asleep at his own trial, and when he woke up, he made his own kind of history. The first person to run for president with 34 felony convictions.
Her entire image was layered in bulletproof spin, like she thought the world would eventually tire of asking questions. Spoiler, it didn't. Then came Megyn Kelly, media's laser pointer aimed right at Clinton's darkest corners. Kelly doesn't toss softballs. She hurls truth grenades. And on this night, she showed up locked, loaded, and ready to fire.
Classified appendix to Durham's report from May of 2023. Let's see. Reveals strong evidence that the FBI covered up a plot by the Hillary Clinton campaign to amplify ties between Trump and Russia. That the FBI covered up the plot. This is the new piece of it that's being dropped today, because we knew Hillary did it. And Fox Digital had reported earlier this week that we were going to see this annex, and it was going to suggest the FBI knew that she was going to do it and then covered it up. And that's where we're going now with this. That Kash Patel said he found the Durham appendix and thousands of other documents inside a burn bag in a secret room at FBI headquarters.
Hillary tried the old routine. Smiles rehearsed in the mirror, talking points polished smooth as glass. But Kelly wasn't there to play nice. She came armed with receipts. Within minutes, the clash turned into television gold. You could almost hear the squeal of Hillary's armor cracking under pressure.
Ball game today than it was even 4 years ago, never mind 8 or 10 years ago when she was doing all this. And back to Hillary, you know, the whole, she has a hat she's tweeted herself out wearing, but her emails. She's tried to turn it into this ridiculous joke, like, oh, but the moon landing, like you nutcases who are still railing about this made up scandal. This thing that, you know, you've used to try to unfairly tar me. She did need to distract from that email scandal.
Kelly didn't just peel back Hillary's spin. She ripped it off like duct tape tearing skin. Ugly truths spilled out, and Hillary's composure collapsed faster than a house of cards in a hurricane. It was like watching a carefully stacked Jenga tower topple, block by block, thanks to the most relentless opponent imaginable.
Should be in jail. Literally, Hillary Clinton should be behind bars. And so should the people who worked for her who did this. This is so blatantly corrupt. She wanted to distract from her email scandal. She cooked up a plan to accuse Trump of being a Russian agent in order to distract from her own legitimate scandal. She made up a scandal about Trump being a Russian asset.
At first, Hillary leaned on her usual tricks: deflect, dismiss, and dance around the point like a courtroom lawyer. But Kelly wasn't a host. She was judge, jury, and wrecking crew. Each fact landed like a hammer. Then the eruption came. Hillary didn't just lose her cool, she detonated. The battle-tested veteran melted under the lights. Her face flushed, her voice cracked, and she looked less like a leader and more like a glitching robot in real time. Sparks practically flew from her ears as Kelly rolled out shady deals and questionable ties that never seemed to leave Hillary's orbit. Viewers at home asked the same question: how did she keep getting away with this?
Of Hillary, her op-ed, which is really pretty spectacular in the New York Times. First of all, my team just showed me this. Have you seen the cover for her new book? Something lost, something gained. Gained is a Freudian slip. And I like the amount of retouching of this face I haven't seen since, Joan Rivers had her 15th surgery. God love Joan. I don't know what she's trying to be with this soft focus. My executive producer, Steve Krakauer, is like, she looks nothing like her.
Kelly laid it out like a prosecutor. And this time, Hillary had no exit strategy. Rehearsed sound bites fell flat. Her pivots looked desperate, like a comic bombing on stage. The angrier she grew, the funnier it became. Most people defend calmly or retreat. Not Hillary. She went nuclear. She hurled excuses, flimsy jabs, and accusations that fell like feathers. Meanwhile, Kelly stayed calm, tightened the screws with every blow. The internet lit up instantly. Memes, GIFs, and endless clips of Hillary unraveling. One moment, she was a political machine. The next, she was trending for all the wrong reasons.
I think really is just sort of getting along based on the family name at this point. And so now she's got a daughter who I guess married a rich guy but is struggling in her own right. Hillary's in a loveless marriage. She probably doesn't have a lot of real friends, just people who are glamours. And so she absolutely does have to write the fifth memoir and go on MSNBC and be told that she's amazing and that she matters.
Here's the irony. Hillary built her career on controlling the narrative, but the harder she gripped here, the faster it slipped through her fingers. By the end, Kelly stood tall in victory, while Hillary looked like the star of a viral blooper reel. And this wasn't just one outburst. It cracked open old scandals she hoped the world had forgotten. Kelly turned up the spotlight, and decades of spin collided headfirst with reality. Hillary wasn't just embarrassed. She was politically gutted.
Of going up to her and sitting down next to her, taking her in my arms and saying, "Look at me, listen to me. You will survive. You will have a good family of your own and 3 children. And as hard as it might be to imagine, your daughter will grow up and become the President of the United States. I am as sure of this as anything I have ever known. America is the greatest country in the world."
Hillary didn't just explode once. She went volcanic, multi-stage eruptions that refused to stop. What started as small cracks turned into a full-blown Mount Vesuvius spectacle. And there was Kelly, cool as ice, pointing out each blast with surgical precision. Backroom deals, money trails, cozy coincidences, all resurfaced. Hillary's golden narrative looked less like a career path and more like a crooked flowchart scribbled by a child. Her fake half-smile tried to hide it, but only looked like she was stifling a sneeze at a funeral.
Okay, I raised Chelsea Clinton because her mother, Hillary, for some reason, thought it would be moving, a good idea, a good PR move, for her to, on camera, read the acceptance speech she was going to give in 2016, the night she never was able to let down the balloons and the fireworks. And it's part of a masterclass, I guess, educational video on the topic of resilience. And here's a little soundbite of
That forced grin didn't say calm. It screamed, "I'm falling apart inside." Her shoulders stiffened. Her eyes darted. She knew the old tricks weren't working. So she lashed out louder, wagging her finger, blaming critics for obsession. It was the political equivalent of yelling, "Why are we still talking about this?" While standing in a fire she started. Every outburst exposed her nerves, while Kelly's steady rebuttals made the contrast brutal. The spotlight shifted to Hillary's long career, her so-called champion of the people persona clashing with stories of steamrolling allies and silencing critics. She couldn't stop it.
Is it over? She died. So
I
uncomfortable.
don't know about you, but that makes me relive that same night you talked about it. It feels so good when I hear that.
I'm, the kids say cringe. I'm very cringy, the whole thing. And why, of all time, like for 4 years and beyond, we were always saying she's like a nice woman. She never expresses emotion. She had like.
It was like Kelly opened a closet, and instead of one skeleton, an entire marching band came crashing out with drums and horns. Hillary's history wasn't sunshine. It was elbows thrown and ladders climbed over others. She hated every second. She squirmed, rolled her eyes, grasped for control, but it was gone. Calling Kelly unfair didn't work. Playing the victim only made her look weaker. Meanwhile, Kelly kept steady, brick by brick dismantling the illusion Hillary had spent decades building.
The law, that homebrew server that had been accessed by foreign agents. She compromised national intelligence information. She did things she would never have allowed anybody at the State Department to do under her. And that leaves me back to Schellenberger here. This is page 4 of his report. He writes as follows: the Russian reports, again, that the Dutch spied on, that we got our hands on, also claimed, listen to this. I mean, you probably already know this stuff, Glenn, but claimed that Attorney General Loretta Lynch, okay, this is back in 2016, people, remember, Obama's president, Loretta Lynch is his Attorney General, and her DOJ/FBI are investigating the Hillary Clinton emails.
The funniest part? Hillary couldn't stop reacting. If she'd stayed calm, she might have salvaged something. Instead, she bit every hook Kelly dangled. It was like watching a cat chase laser dots until it collapsed in exhaustion. The audience ate it up. Every outburst went viral. Every awkward face turned into a meme. Late-night comedians had a field day. Kelly didn't just expose isolated scandals. She painted a whole pattern, showing Hillary as less a public servant and more a cautionary tale. The mask slipped, the polish vanished, and what remained was raw, unfiltered rage.
Clinton decided to drop an op-ed in the New York Times today that's entitled, "How much dumber will this get?" And she uses Signalgate and the messaging by Pete Hegseth and Mike Wallace and JD Vance and Tulsi and others on there as the jumping off point to talk about how dumb the Trump administration is. Some highlights. She calls the Trump administration hypocritical, dangerous, and dumb over this story. It's not the hypocrisy that bothers me, it's the stupid.
Hillary leaned in, snapping back with venom sharp enough to strip paint. But instead of intimidating Kelly, it proved the point. Hillary was drowning in her scandals, allergic to accountability, spiraling at the first whiff of truth. Kelly stayed cool, letting her vent before calmly delivering the mic drop line. That tied it all together. Hillary looked like a fighter knocked out in round 1, still insisting she was fine. The fallout was instant, live proof of a meltdown her team could never spin away. Kelly hadn't just aired secrets. She shattered the illusion of control Clinton clung to for decades.
Though, like the air toucher, the retoucher deserves a huge raise. This is a much more soft, welcoming, friendly, I suppose, Hillary. Although again, to self-awareness, something lost, huh? I wonder what that was. Really?
Right.
You know, the woman who wrote a book called What Happened, like marveling over all the external forces that could have caused her loss in a presidential election that was handed to her on a silver platter. And then you get into this op-ed, which
Yeah, it's just remarkable for what's in there. She has a paragraph in there about all the prep she's.
The footage spread like wildfire, Hillary unraveling while Kelly cut through her defenses like butter. After years of being sold as an untouchable mastermind, she looked like a student fumbling excuses for missing homework. Memes branded her a human volcano. Late-night shows mocked her collapse. And the brilliance? Kelly barely raised her voice. She let Hillary destroy herself. Her breakdown wasn't just one embarrassing night. It was a reminder of every scandal and ghost from her past. And this time, history itself seemed to join the prosecution.
They banked on the intel agencies working with her to perpetuate this lie, and it appears they were only too happy to assist. That's what this scandal's about. Pieces of it we knew. New pieces are coming in by the day thanks to these declassifications. And it's downright shocking. Do not believe that there's no there there. People who are saying that are wrong. They're wrong. What just broke today, like moments before it came to air, we're still getting our arms around it, was obviously provided to Michael Schellenberger before 2 minutes ago.
The irony couldn't be louder. Hillary's career was built on controlling the story. But the more she tried to steer this one, the more it spun away. Her meltdown didn't show strength. It exposed cracks she could never patch. By the end, her untouchable image lay in ruins. Kelly hadn't just revealed secrets. She proved that behind all the polish and power, Hillary was never bulletproof. And that truth bomb, that's the one that lingers long after the lights dim, etching itself into her legacy forever.